Welcome to the Melanin Jelly Project Conversations, a podcast that celebrates diversity and representation in children's storytelling, entertainment, and edutainment. I am the host, Olunosen Louisa Ivaze. On this podcast, I chat with authors and creators of children's books, entertainment, and edutainment. This is also a collaboration with the Ottawa Black Book Club. Thank you very much. Elizabeth Harlan. Welcome to the DJALI'S bookshelf. So before today, we were called the Melanin Jelly Project Conversations Podcast, which is a mouthful. So I'm very happy that for season 3, we've shortened the name to the DJALI'S bookshelf. My name is Louisa Ivaze. I'm an author. I write for adults and kids. And I started this podcast as a way of helping other authors, answer questions. When I started writing for children, I had a lot of questions and I didn't know where to go. I kept Googling, and I just thought, why not start a podcast where other authors can come and share their writing journey, where people can learn from, and I can also learn from, and we can also share ideas. So welcome again, Elizabeth Harlan, to the DJALI'S bookshelf. Elizabeth Harlan is the author of 2 amazing books, Matt, Sam, and the Swimming Unicorn. Matt, Sam, and the Swimming Rock. So welcome. So tell me about yourself and what inspired you to write these 2 books. Thank you also for the letter. Thank you for this. Yeah.
It was providential. I grew up believing that I couldn't draw. And I have an older daughter who is an artist.
Okay.
And she was convinced that I could draw. And so she was the one who started me drawing. As I was drawing and learning techniques and stuff like that, this llama and this sloth, they kept coming up in everything that I drew. And it was really strange that they kept showing up. And then I took a class. I'd always wanted to be a writer, but I assumed I'd be a writer of novels.
Okay.
But I took a class on writing kids' books. And by the end of that class, I had Matt, Sam, and the Swimming Unicorn written in rough draft.
Oh, wow.
And so it was, that's why I say it was providential. I mean, I believe God just gave me the idea because it came out of nowhere. But it was also motivated by my younger daughter has autism. I have autism. My older daughter has ADHD. My husband has ADHD. All 4 of us have suffered some sort of either bullying or being treated unfairly because of our differences. And so in the first book, I wanted to show how we can work with those differences. And in the second book, I wanted to show how those differences made us special, because I was not diagnosed until I was 50 years old. So I spent my entire life not knowing I was autistic.
Oh, wow.
And not fitting in and not understanding why I could not make it in this world the way everyone else did. My younger daughter was diagnosed at 3, and so she's not had that same issue. She also lives in a different world than I do. She's lower communication and really doesn't care about the outside world, which sometimes I envy her for. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. I now live in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
I went to Indiana University, which is where I met my husband. And I have a degree in secondary education.
Oh, wow.
So.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. When I read your letter, I was really touched. When people talk about autism, people don't understand that it's a spectrum. And through the years, I've come to understand that a lot of people are on different parts of that spectrum. And there's a lot about neurodiversity, ADHD and autism that the world needs to learn about. I was very surprised. This was the first time I was reading that someone was diagnosed at 50. Yeah, which, I read this letter again last night and this morning, and I went, 50. Wow. Wow. But you've been able to successfully navigate this world. You got your
Yeah.
You found love, you had children. So it's amazing. And you're an author. So yeah. So why did you choose a llama and a sloth as the main characters for conveying your story?
It seemed, they were the ones that I kept drawing, but it also seemed like to me it would be an unusual friendship, because they are very different animals. One lives on the ground, the other lives in the air, or in the trees, and one moves pretty quickly and the other one moves pretty slowly. And so it seemed to be a very unusual friendship between two very different characters. Okay. So it kind of went with my theme of, living with our differences and enjoying them, and not letting them get between us. Okay.
I like the fact that you introduced the red boots. Red is one of my favorite colors. And talk us through your writing process. How long did it take you to fine-tune this story? How long did it take you to do the illustrations?
The writing part didn't take long. I would imagine that the actual writing of the story probably only took me a couple of hours. And I had plenty of people around that were willing to look at the story. Okay. The illustration, however, took months. Trying to fine-tune my own drawing, because in the beginning it was real rough and I had to fine-tune a lot. I did have help with the backgrounds in the first book, not in the second book. That probably, I would say, took months to do the illustration. That's really the in-depth, the hardest part of doing the children's books is the illustration. And I did it myself. I didn't hire someone to do it. So that, I think, made it even more difficult because I had no idea what I was doing.
Lucky you. For me, I have to hire illustrators. So it's such a blessing to be able to do your illustrations yourself, because you can determine your pace and you can actually bring to life the image you have in your head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your biggest challenge while writing this book?
Illustration. The stories seem to come pretty naturally, but the illustration, getting the animals to look right in different poses. Because the side view of a llama is very different than the front view of a llama. And then the sloth has a lot of different poses, trying to get her to look right in each of those and maintain the character, even though she looks different in each one. So working with the animals can probably be the hardest part, trying to get them to cooperate, so to speak.
Okay, what are some things you would like aspiring authors to know about writing children's books, or before they set out to write a children's book? What are some of the things you would like them to know?
I would say don't be afraid to just put yourself out there. This was a giant leap of faith for me to just all of a sudden say, I'm going to illustrate this book and I'm going to just put this out there. That is not a natural thing for me to do. That is definitely not a natural thing for me to do. And that's what I would say is don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Take the chance. You don't know where it's going to take you. And if you don't take the chance, then you don't find out what gifts you may have and what things may happen for you. So,
yeah. I think that's a beautiful thing to say. It's as humans, sometimes we limit ourselves based on our thinking, because it's like you said you didn't know you could draw until your daughter motivated you. I didn't know I could write children's books. I would read before. I would only write for adults, and anytime people ask me, Louisa, do you have any books for children? I go, no, I'm not a children's author. I don't have the right language for children's books, until I decided to challenge myself. I just looked at it. I said, Louisa, you can do this. And now I have these 4 books now. Yeah. So all written by me. I'm looking at the characters. I want to start with the first book. The first book, Matt and the Swimming Unicorn. Would you like to read the book to us? Yeah, I would like it because you're going to read both books. So I would like you to read Matt, Sam, and the Swimming Unicorn first. Then we talk about it, and then you read Matt, Sam, and the Swimming Rock, and then I can ask questions from the book. I mean, it's a quick read, so that's fine. So as you read, I will show the audience the pages.
Okay. All right. That'll be easier than me trying to do it.
Yeah.
My pages are stuck together. Okay. Hello, I'm Matt. I am a llama. I live in a zoo. I like hopping. I like to eat grass. But most of all, I like to go for walks at night with my friend Sam. I wait until everyone goes to sleep. I put on my red boots to go walking. Let's go find Sam. Hello, my name is Samantha, but please call me Sam. I am a sloth. I live in the rainforest at the zoo. I like to surprise Matt. I can't find Sam. Where is she? Surprise! Hey, Matt. I heard there's a new animal in the zoo. What kind? A swimming unicorn. Where? The aquarium. Let's go. See, Matt? A swimming unicorn. Hello? Is there anybody here? Hello? Yipes! My name is Narnie. Who are you? My name is Sam. My name is Matt. So what are you guys? I am a llama. I am a sloth. What are you? I'm a narwhal. Not a swimming unicorn? Nope. I found a ball. Let's play catch. Here, Narnie. Catch. I think it's stuck. Here, let me help you. Sam fell in the water. Oh no, we have to help her. It's okay, I can swim. Cool. I didn't know sloths could swim. So do we still want to play catch? I don't know how to do this. Matt, you don't have hands. How do you play catch? I use my head. I think I still have a problem. I have an idea. Use your tail. Great idea, Sam. Wow, what a tail. I just cannot do this. Don't worry, Narnie. Some things take practice. Give it another try. Awesome job, Narnie. You did it. Womp. What was that? Probably just the night cleaners. Matt, I think we need to go. Go where? Back to the petting zoo. Back to the rainforest. I wish you could stay. We'll come back tomorrow night. Yeah, we'll come back tomorrow night. Hop on, Sam. Here they come. Here we go. Good night, Matt. See you tomorrow. Good night, Sam. See you tomorrow. Now it is time for me to get some sleep. The end.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. So they meet. It starts off with Matt. And why did you feel the need to introduce the red boots?
They showed up when I was drawing the character. I thought it was just a cute, fun thing to throw in there that kids would get a kick out of, a llama walking around in red boots. And it just kind of gave him some personality. Okay. So he's not just your typical llama, he's a llama in red boots.
Oh, okay. And then, let me see. Okay, then there's the sloth. And then they meet Nani. I find it interesting that even though the ball gets stuck in Nani's, that's a tooth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a tooth. Yeah, it's actually a tooth. I find it interesting that the ball gets stuck in Nani's tooth, and there's the option to use the tail.
Yeah.
So it's like saying that as children, when you can't do things the way everyone else is doing, it's okay to do it a little different. Can you speak to us about that?
That has been, I think, the story of my life, is I couldn't do things the way everybody else did. One of my biggest issues has been social interaction and not catching social cues and putting my foot in my mouth a lot, not meaning to say things the way I say them. But I've also had difficulty with coordination and some other issues, and I've had to do things differently to try and make it through. And I've had to learn to do what they call masking, where I do my best to hide what I really am and try to look as much as I can like the rest of the world. Okay. And so I spent a lot of energy, up until I got my diagnosis, I spent a lot of energy just trying to figure out why I didn't fit in and how I could fit in, and trying to mold myself into something that I wasn't. And since my diagnosis, I've been doing a lot less masking and accepting that I do things different. I think about things differently, and I notice different things. And that makes me special. And I enjoy seeing things differently than everyone else, to have that different viewpoint and come in and people are just like, where did that come from? I like that. But I have had to learn how to do things differently, and accept that I'm not going to do it the way everybody else does. Okay. So that's a good portion of who I am. Okay. And who I've been.
And how do you think the world can be kinder to neurodiverse people?
I think one of the things that I found most difficult when I wound up with an autistic child was the isolation, because everyone would get together and start talking about their kids, and I'd just be sitting there. My kids don't do that. My kids don't do that either. And nobody really reached out to include me. And I think in those circumstances, I think people need to learn to reach out to the person that's not included, find out why, find out what's different. I think people need to be more willing to learn about the differences. And I think people need to stop thinking of neurodiverse people as not as smart because we do things differently. People would say that my younger daughter is not smart when she is probably one of the smartest people I know. But you don't know that because of her inability to communicate. You know it by watching the things that she's able to do, but you don't know it because of her inability to communicate. And I think sometimes people assume that if somebody can't communicate verbally, that they're not as smart, which isn't true. And so I think there's been a stereotype that autistic people aren't as smart, when actually autistic people sometimes are smarter than the people who are beating them down. But I think overall it's a willingness to learn, a willingness to accept the differences, and a willingness to work with the differences and say, okay, this person doesn't do it the same. What can I learn? How can I, welcome them into my life? And I think that that's one of the things that's missing, is people aren't willing to open up and welcome us in and accept our differences.
I think this also goes to show that the definition of what it means to be smart is relative. Who gets to determine and to define the parameters you use in defining who is smart? Who gets to do that? Who gets to do that?
But they don't have a way to measure it fairly for someone with autism.
Yeah.
So that was for me one of the very difficult moments with being the parent of an autistic child, is seeing how the world treated their level of intelligence. And so I think there's a lot of emphasis placed on our IQ, which I don't think is fair, because I know some people with, what would be considered a lower IQ who are some of the most successful people I've ever met. And it's not fair how they determine intelligence and say who's intelligent and who isn't. Because I've also seen people who have incredibly high IQs who can't function in the real world.
Very true.
So, it's the intelligence test has way too much emphasis put on it, I think. And I can say that because I'm at the other end, where I have a higher level of intelligence according to the IQ test.
Okay, let me go to your second book now. Your second book is Matt, Sam, and the Swimming Rock.
Yeah.
So, you want to read that to us?
Okay.
Yes.
This one was fun. I mean, they were both fun, but this one was really fun. I really enjoyed doing this one. So, and I like people guessing on, well, what in the world is a swimming rock? I had a lot of people when I told them the title, they're like, what's a swimming rock? Nobody could figure it out.
Okay.
Okay, so welcome to the zoo. Hello, I'm Matt. I am a llama. I live in a petting zoo. I like hopping. During the day, people feed me and pet me. At night, I like to take walks with my friend Sam. I wait until everyone goes to sleep. I put on my red boots. Sam lives in the rainforest here at the zoo. Let's go find her. My name is Samantha, but please call me Sam. I am a sloth and I love to hang upside down. I like to eat leaves. I also like to drop in on Matt. Oh, hello, Sam. Hi, Matt. Let's go see the swimming rocks. Swimming rocks? Yeah, they're in the ponds. Let's go. Where are they? Those greenish brown bumps out there. See, it's a swimming rock. I don't know, Sam. I don't think that's a rock. That is not a rock. What are you? I think you scared it. I didn't mean to scare you. I was just wondering if you were a swimming rock. I am no such thing. I am a turtle. I'm sorry. How did you disappear like that? There is space inside my shell for my head and legs. I am a sloth. My name is Sam. I am Matt. I am a llama. My name is Timothy. I love swimming. I love swimming. Come on in, the water's fine. Matt, are you coming? No thanks, I think I will just watch. Let's have a race. Matt, can you start us off? Okay, ready, set, go. Timothy, you won. Good job, Timothy. Let's go back the other way. Ready, set, go. Timothy wins again. Wow, you were fast. Thanks, Sam. Can sloths hold their breath underwater? Yes, we can. Let me show you. I'm coming with you. There they go. Where's Timothy? I hope he's okay. He's still under the water. I was getting worried. I can hold my breath up to an hour. Wow. Well, I guess you got me beat, Timothy. Sam, turtles are made to live in water. Sloths were made to live in trees. I think I know who would win a tree climbing race. I couldn't even get started. You are right. We are all good at different things. Sam, I think we need to go. Go? I have to get back to the rainforest. And I have to get back to the petting zoo. Can you come back sometime? You bet. Climb on, Sam. Yuck, you're getting me wet. Run fast and we'll dry off. You asked for it. Wow, he's fast. Thanks for the ride. Good night, Matt. You're welcome. Good night, Sam. The end. And then this time around, I added fun facts about animals. So
Yeah, I liked the fun facts that you added. But if we look at the story, what I like about the story was that you allowed what's his name, Timothy, the turtle, win the race. Yeah, it's unusual because I was wondering, if Timothy won the race, the turtle won the race, how slow is the sloth? Then I remember that a turtle is different from a tortoise. They are two different things. You know, sometimes people tend to mix them up. Yeah. People did. So why did you choose a turtle in this as a main character in this book? The first book was Nani, and then this one is Timothy.
Turtle is one of my favorite animals.
Oh.
I love turtles, and it struck me that, you know, I was thinking of what animals could Sam come up with a strange description for. You know, he came up with the swimming unicorn. What's the next one? Oh, you know, a turtle, he could think that was a swimming rock. And so I was looking for animals that Sam could come up with an interesting way of looking at them. So that was kind of, I mean, that and turtles are my favorite animals. So
yeah,
I wanted to use a turtle.
Yeah, I was reading the fun facts. I know that the day we went to a petting zoo, I went to a petting zoo. I took my nieces to a petting zoo. And when we were standing by the llamas, we're told to give some distance that they spit. Yeah. I didn't know they spit until that. Yeah, I didn't know. So I like the fun facts here. Llamas are smart and easy to train. Llamas are used as therapy animals. I didn't know that. I didn't know they were used as therapy animals. Llamas can shoot green spit up to 10 feet away. Wow. Llamas can hum. Llamas know their limits. If you put too much stuff on them that overload them, they will either lay down or just refuse to move. Llamas are vegetarians. They eat grass, shrubs, and flowering plants. I didn't know that about them. I didn't know that. Then sloths. Sloths are the slowest animals on earth. I didn't know they're slower than tortoise. Sloths are 3 times stronger than human. I didn't also know that. So where does that strength come from?
I think it's just for the simple fact that they always live in trees and they're always having to hang on with their arms.
Yeah,
I mean, they spend their whole life hanging from a tree. You gotta be awfully strong to do that.
Yeah, when I read that portion of them being stronger, my mind went to I love history. So I was thinking of prehistoric times and the bones of the giant sloths people archaeologists found. So I was wondering, could it be those bones or these present sloths? Okay. And here, a sloth can fall 100 feet. There's 10-story buildings without getting hurt. For this to happen, does it take the position of a ball when it lands?
I honestly don't know. That one I don't know. I just found the fact that they can fall that far, and was just fascinated by the fact that they could fall that far. Yeah. But it makes sense because they live in trees, and if you fall out of the tree, you better be able to handle it.
Yeah, and they must have missed their steps so many times or missed their grip. Okay. Sloths live in trees and spend 90% of their time hanging upside down. I didn't know that. Sloths are vegetarian. They like to eat leaves, twigs, and buds. It takes 30 days for a sloth to digest one leaf. Sloths can swim and can hold their breath for up to 40 minutes. I didn't know that either. Sloths can look green because they can grow a layer of algae to blend in with trees. I didn't know that. Sloths don't have a smell. That's strange. I thought all animals have a smell.
Nope, not sloths.
Okay. Then turtles.
Sloths are fun. They are really fun. They are.
Yeah, then turtles. Turtles do not have teeth. They use their beak-like mouths to grasp their food. Turtle shells are made out of 50 bones fused together, so they are essentially wearing their skeletons on the outside. I didn't know those shells were made of bones. I just assumed it's some sort of armor. The largest turtle ever recorded was nearly 10 feet from beak to tail and weighed 2,019 pounds. Wow. Would those be the leatherback turtles?
That I'm not sure. I don't know what kind of turtle it was that was that big.
That big.
But
Wow.
that is a very big turtle.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Then turtles cannot leave their shells. Turtles lay eggs. Sex of turtle is determined by temperature of nest. A warm nest gives female turtles, a cool nest gives male turtles. If the temperature changes between warm and cool, there will be both male and female turtles. This, I only heard of this about in regards to crocodiles. They say crocodiles too, when they lay eggs, the temperature of the environment determines the sex of the eggs. This is interesting. Yeah. So do you think that having more books about children with neurodiverse stories, telling more neurodiverse stories, will help our world today be kinder to people with ADHD and autism?
I like to think so. I know that my second book, one of the parents who read it to their kids said after they read the second book, their kids actually started talking about what their strengths were. And the kids were really interested in seeing what their strengths were, what they did best at. I think it can help. I like to think it would help with the kids. And I think that reaching the kids and having the kids grow in a world where the neurodiversity is something, it is more prevalent now. They're finding it more. And the kids that were thought they were just weird were now learning their, neurodivergence. So I think there's more out there for people to accept. But I think starting with the kids is really important because they're going to grow up different than adults who have preconceived notions that you have to break through. Kids don't necessarily have that. And so you can reach them when they're younger and teach them these differences and how to accept them at a younger age. And so I think reaching out to kids with these books is very important to raise the next generation differently. Because I know how I was raised, and I wouldn't have accepted myself.
Okay. What would you like the world to know about neurodivergent people and children?
Oh golly, that's hard. I always like the statement, if you've met one autistic kid, you've met one autistic kid. While there are similarities across the autistic world, we are all so incredibly different that you can't assume that everyone's gonna, people think a certain way about autism, and that's not necessarily the way it is. And I like to think of autism as like a pie chart, and you've got different strengths in each of the little triangles. And some people, this triangle stretches way out and this one's really short. Somebody else, that one's really long and that one's really short. And so instead of a line where, they say, oh, this is high functioning, this is low functioning, who defines what high functioning is? I mean, I have some things about me that would actually classify me as low functioning. But because I can talk and act properly in society, they say I'm high functioning. And I'm like, I don't know about that, folks. You haven't seen me fall apart at home because I can't do something. And we're people too with emotions and feelings. I think sometimes people think that autistic kids are and autistic people don't have the emotions, and we have the full range, if sometimes not even more sensitive than people give us credit for. And I know with the ADHD, that definitely makes me more sensitive. There is a portion of ADHD that makes you more sensitive than someone who's not ADHD. There's a component of it that affects us that way.
And how do you think that neurodivergent authors can be supported? Because I don't know if do you belong to like any group of authors who write
I actually, the two groups that I belong to, one is a group of fellow children's book authors. And so we review each other's work, we give each other suggestions, and we help each other with our stories. And then the other group that I belong to, actually, they're all novelists. I'm the only children's book author in it, but it's an accountability group. We get together once every 2 weeks and say, hey, what are you doing? And you know that in 2 weeks, you're going to have to tell them what you've been doing for 2 weeks. You better do something. But I'm not actually a member of any neurodivergent groups right now. My two writing groups are just writing groups. And I kind of like it that way. I like that they've accepted me. And they just, they like my quirks. They think I'm funny, and they like hearing my opinion on things. And I like that. And the support from my fellow authors makes a big deal because it can be very lonely. And I don't know if calling attention to neurodivergent authors, I think in some ways that can make a really huge difference, because I don't think that we are well represented necessarily. But on the other hand, I think sometimes we just want to be seen as an author. I just want to be seen as a children's book author. I don't want somebody to say, hey, you're an autistic children's book author. I'm a children's book author. And, but I don't think all autistic people necessarily think that way. I've discovered that sometimes my ideas don't match even the autistic community.
That's I think it's a spectrum, right? Everybody is on different parts of that the spectrum.
Yeah, and I think it can go both ways. I think some people want the world to know, and this is where I think the world can be supportive in terms of calling attention to how many autistic authors we do have out there. And I think there's a definite advantage to that, in that, wait a second, I didn't know that person was autistic and they wrote that. And it can show people, hey, this is what autistic people can do. And can break some of those barriers of, thinking that we can't do that. Because there's a lot of us out there, it's just that nobody knows it. But then on the other hand, some days I just want to be known as an author.
Okay. So what would you like to see for your books? What would you like to see happen to your books? Because did you self-publish these books?
Yes, I self-published.
By Amazon, or how did you do that?
I use Ingram Spark as my book printer, and they send it out to more than just Amazon. You can get it on BarnesandNoble.com, Books A Million. There's a couple other places that you can get it on their website. They may not have it in a physical store, but they have it on their website. And then I can print my own books, and I go to vendor events like craft fairs and stuff like that, and sell them there. I would like to see my books more widespread. I have a very small audience right now, But I have an audience that's been deeply affected by them. And that's what's really important to me. But I'd also like to see them more widespread because I'd like to see them affect more people.
Okay.
I think that's, I think they have a chance to really help people.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm a terrible I'm terrible at the
Marketing.
whatchamacallit. Yeah,
Marketing.
marketing. Marketing is not my strong suit.
Are you on Instagram, Facebook? Are you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and Facebook.
So when you use, for me, that's what I use. I don't know how to go to people and say, hey, buy my book. So I use social media a lot. So a lot of my stuff in there.
And I do use social media, and Matt and Sam go on once a week, and Matt tells a joke. So they do show up on my social media on a regular basis. Sam's kind of the straight man, I guess you'd say, and Matt's the comedian.
Okay. All right. If people want to buy your books, where can they buy your books?
Well, they can buy them at the main bookstores through their websites, and then I have my own website where I also sell my books.
Okay. And can you read out your social media handles so people can go follow you? Because I'm going to put at the bottom of the video when it comes out, but I want you to also say it for listeners.
Okay. My website is www.elizabethannharlan, and that's ELIZABETHANNHARLAN.com. Facebook is actually Gator Lizard.
Gator Lizard.
Yes, GATORLIZARD. That's my Facebook.
Let me see. Let me find it. Gator Lizard.
It's just Liz Harlan.
Okay, Liz Harlan. Okay, that's easier. Okay, Liz Harlan. That way I can find you. Yes.
Yeah.
That way I can find you, and I'll put it out there. I'll put it in your bio.
Okay.
I'll put it in your bio so that for anybody who watches and wants to reach out and follow you, they can go there.
Yeah, and then what's my Instagram? I think my Instagram is lost. No, there it is. I believe it's. Let me just check because I'm going to say it wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Elizabeth Ann Harlan Writer.
Okay, Elizabeth Ann Harlan Writer. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. Yes, thank you so much, Liz. I just want to say a very big thank you to you for sending us these books and making out time to chat with us about you as a person, the inspiration for your stories, and what you hope to see for the future, and basically sensitizing the public about neurodiversity and neurodivergent authors. Yeah. So I would like to say a very big thank you to you, and have a great Saturday.